ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च। श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथन्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Happy to see here all of you in the new week that we are meeting together, and hope all of you are fit and fine. Thank you for coming and joining in this discussion of the wonderful and beautiful instructions given by Krishna to all of us through Arjuna. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is mentioned that using Arjuna, Krishna instructed humanity about how they should live their life and how to become successful. And in the introduction to Bhagavad Gita, Krishna's Prabhupada says that actually Arjuna and Krishna are eternally together. They are Nara Narayana Rishi, incarnated as Arjuna and Krishna. So it is not that Arjuna does not know all this stuff, but he just modeled it and put himself, Krishna put him in confusion. He asked these questions so that we will all be benefited. And it looks like from the picture that Krishna is serving Arjuna. Yes, true. Krishna is serving Arjuna, and Krishna and Arjuna together are serving entire humanity by giving us these very wonderful instructions. So, thank you for being here to discuss this, because these things may not be very popular these days. People are more worried about Putin and the war that he's waging and the bombs that he's dropping and the destruction that he's wreaking as a havoc everywhere, and the economy that's going to go up and down and prices going spiraling up or down or whatever, and the businesses and everything. People are alarmed. They said now it was COVID, and then when COVID went, thanks to Putin, he has started another bigger COVID, and anxiety after anxiety. You should not be surprised. And this is the nature of the material world, to keep you anxious. That's why it's called Kunta. Kunta means misery. Vaikunta means no misery. This material world is Kunta. It is a place of misery, and Krishna declares this in Bhagavad Gita, Dukkhalayam ashashvatam napnuvandi mahatmanaha. He says this place is Dukkha Alayam. It is a house of misery. Ashashvatam, a temporary place, a temporary house of misery. Welcome to all of you to this amazing residence. And we all have foolishly decided to take residence here and trying to make it permanent too. We are very interested in making this place a permanent residence. Right? So some time back, I was talking to somebody who was trying to get permanent residency in the United States. And it was so funny that taking permanent residency, I said, really, that's really funny, I said. He said, why? It's really funny because there's no permanent residency in this whole world. There's no permanent residency in this whole world. and you're busy taking permanent residency in the United States, I wish you all the best, because by the time you get it, you'll be dead and gone. So we were telling him that Krishna is offering permanent residency in the spiritual world. He's telling that in Bhagavad Gita, Yat Gatvana Nivartante Tatthamam Paramam Mama. Where once coming, you will never have to come to this world again. Right? So, welcome to that world. And this is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita has got no ordinary, simple purpose of only clearing your little problems that you have with your mother-in-law or with your child or with somebody. Bhagavad Gita is offering such an amazing opportunity. And if you miss it and go for the mother-in-law problem alone, then you will actually turn out to be pretty foolish utilization of the chance and opportunity that Krishna has given. So we're reading the 6th chapter with that idea in our mind. And we want to focus and we want to see how to achieve the real purpose of life. That's our business, how to achieve the real purpose of life. And what is that purpose is what we are being repeatedly taught again and again. So last time we touched upon yoga and its different aspects. We also discussed how we can understand certain simple things. And Prabhupada told us, God helps those who helps themselves. Helps those who help themselves. It was a very interesting statement by Bhakti Swami Prabhupada. God helps those who help themselves. So Bhagavad Gita is teaching you how to help yourself. And we ended this discussion with a little peek into control of the mind. Yato nischalati manas chanchalam astiram tatastato niyamaitat atmanye vabasamnayat. From wherever and whenever the mind wanders due to its unsteady, flickering nature, one must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the self. I think you remember this, right? Yes or no? You remember what we did 1 week back? That seems eons back, right? Looks like very long back I met you, all of you together, about a week back. And time is one of the greatest problems in terms of remembering things. So I hope you remember what we did. We were making a foray into the 6th chapter, and we were talking about Krishna giving instructions to Arjuna, and he told him, Shutau dese pratishtapya, find a nice place, sit down, meditate on the tip of the nose, and then gradually raise it up. And he said, finally, it is meant for meditating on me as super soul in the heart. So, and we discovered how yoga today is something else and how it is a huge billion-dollar commercial enterprise. And how by actually properly understanding yoga from the 6th chapter, we can do amazing things. And that is what is the exercise here. So Krishna has given an introduction about this Ashtanga Yoga. And he has gone further to also explain several other things about a yogi and his conduct and his discipline, how you must not eat too much, eat too less, sleep too much, sleep too less. He does exactly what's required. And he glorifies a yogi as being a person who is always seeing him everywhere. So you'll hear more of that today as we read. Please open up your Bhagavad Gita if you've got, and we're going to go into it from text 29 onwards. We covered till about 28, where Krishna is saying, Yunjanevam sadatmanam yogi vigatakalmashaha sukena brahma samsparsham atyantam sukhamashnute. You got that? Okay. So Please go ahead and read. Satyendra Desai, please read the screen if you can see. Kiran Desai, I'm sorry.
Yes, Maharaj.
Yeah.
A true yogi observes me in all beings and also sees every being in me. Indeed, the self-realized person sees me, the same Supreme Lord, everywhere.
Okay, thank you. See, the criterion for being a true yogi, it doesn't say you have to grow a long beard and hair and have a mush or have a clean shaven face and a gold rimmed spectacles and look slick. It doesn't say that you have to be this or that. What's the meaning of a true yogi? Sarva bhutastam atmanam sarva bhutani chatmani. A true yogi observes me, Krishna, in all beings and also sees every being in me. Indeed, the self-realized person sees me, the same Supreme Lord, everywhere. Sarvatra samadarshana. Right? Let's just see the wordings and see what is the definition of a yogi. And here the yogi described is Ashtanga yogi. Ashtanga yogi means he's performing using his body, mind, disciplining his body and mind and focusing on the super soul in the heart. You know, there are three manifestations of the absolute truth. Bhagavan, self, personal feature of the Supreme Lord. That is, Venum Kwanantam Aravinda Dalayataksham Barhavatam Samasitam Buddhasundarangam Tandarpakoti Kamaniya Vishesha Sobham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. He has got Venu blowing his beautiful flute. Aravinda Dalayataksham, like a lotus petal, his eyes are shaped beautifully. Barhavatam, peacock feather on his head. Buddhasundara Angam, very beautiful shaped body. Kandarpakoti Kamaniya Vishesha Sobham. Crores and crores of cupids watch Krishna's beauty and become completely bewildered. They are not able to go ahead and do anything else. Even the cupids, Kamadeva, becomes enamored by Krishna's beauty. Kandarpakoti Kamaniya Vishesha Sobham. And brilliant, beautiful, amazing, unique beauty. Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. That is a personal form, original form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But then he expands himself into many, 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 and is situated in everybody's heart, accompanying you as soul, as a super soul. That is called the localized feature of the Lord. And then there is the Brahman feature, all-pervading feature. All-pervading feature. If you take the sun, Prabhupada explained, sunlight is all-pervading, right? And if you go to the sun planet, you will see Surya Deva there in his personal form, right? So you can see sun can be seen personally as Surya Deva. As 4th chapter, Krishna mentioned, Vivaswan Manave Praha. In the same way, you can see sunlight pervading everything. So the Lord has got an all-pervasive feature called Brahman. He's got a localized feature called Paramatma. And he's got a personal, beautiful form that is a source of both this Paramatma and the Brahman feature. That is Bhagavan. So he is speaking and telling me, a true yogi observes me in all beings, right? This is a definition of a yogi. So here is Prabhupada in the quotation also saying, please read. Who would like to read? Anybody likes to read? I can't see your names for some reason.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah, go ahead.
The perfect yogi knows that the Lord is eternally transcendental and is not materially affected by his presence in either a dog or a brahmana. Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna
Yes.
Maharaj.
Thank you. The perfect yogi, again, is transcendental and is never materially affected by seeing his Lord in a dog or a brahmana. Because God is not affected if he is present in any of these material bodies. He operates by a completely different spiritual energy. Then Krishna goes further to describe this yogi. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mayi pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sacha me na pranashyati. Please go ahead. Meena Mohan, Mrs. Meena Mohan, you want to read this translation on the screen? Sorry for springing a surprise on each one of you. Mrs. Meena Mohan. Okay, not available. Sudevan Paramu.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Sudevan Paramu, please read the translation on the screen.
For one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost, nor is he ever lost to me.
Yeah, thank you,
Hare
Sudevan.
Krishna.
So these are some of descriptions of a yogi by Krishna. The yogi is so absorbed in Krishna because of his meditation on Krishna's form in his heart. So don't think that this meditation that is being prescribed is something that is unnatural or difficult to do or something mystical or too far away from you. Actually, this is a reality. We have made ourselves far away from God, who is so close to you. He's right in your heart. He's closer than anybody else can come to you. Nobody else can come as close as Krishna to you, because he's sitting right in your heart, along with your original form as spirit soul. Nobody can come closer to you. Nobody can be closer to you. Nobody can know you as good as Krishna. So what an amazing opportunity Krishna is giving. He's saying in Bhagavad Gita, I am your friend. Sukhridam sarva bhutanam. I'm sitting inside your heart. I am facilitating all your desires. Won't you look at me even once? Won't you turn around and see me? Right? What brutish, brash, completely down, low-class behavior we have, that we won't look at the Lord. Instead, we say the Lord and me are one. And instead, we try to become God. This is as far as our religion goes. Then outside of it, other people who are more crass, they would say there is no God. Everybody says all sorts of things, but Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains clearly that he is constantly in touch with you, but you don't care to be in touch with God. So here it is saying, Yomam Pashyati Sarvatra. That person who has established contact with Krishna can, out of love for him and out of the absorption of him, see him everywhere. Who can see God everywhere is a person who is completely in love with God. That is Bhakti. Only a person who's in love with God can see him. There's a person, even in the material world, when, boy and a girl fall in love with each other and all that, they're obsessed with each other. Of course, that is puppy love, like we say, and it's going to last for 2-3 years. Just you wait, both of you, and you'll see the other side of this. We'll be sitting and thinking, all you experienced guys will be thinking maybe, just you wait. But the fact is that they're completely absorbed. And they look at each other, think about each other day and night, and text each other and talk to each other, and they are absorbed. And that is even for this type of mundane association in this world. So imagine if you fall in love with Krishna, which is what he is asking you to do. You will see, yogi means a lover of Krishna. That's what it really means. In this chapter, you'll see the definition coming towards the end. Topmost yogi is one who is in love with me. Krishna will describe. But said so far away from what type of yoga and yogis are being developed in the commercial world today using this understanding of yoga. This is what people do in this world. They take religion, screw it up, take all the instructions of God and make it completely mundane, make money out of it, cheat each other with it, and make a mess of the instructions given by Krishna. But if you read the 6th chapter, you know what really is the crux of yoga. Look at the shloka. Krishna is describing the yogi. He sees me everywhere. Yomam pashyati sarvatra sarvam chamay, and sees everything in me. Sees me everywhere and everything. These are two different things. These are two different things. Tasyaham na pranashyami. I am never lost to him. He is never lost to me. Look at these reciprocatory words given by Krishna himself. A true yogi. And Krishna is here describing the topmost yogi. He could have come to that platform of topmost yogi either by Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, or Bhakti Yoga. But the point is that you see in these explanations, absorption in Krishna, love of Krishna, all these things are the main point. Yogi means one who is in love with God. That's the meaning of yogi, actually. Not that one who shows some tricks and magic and brings gold to you or ashes to you or, does some miracles and all that. Those are all material paranormal stuff that we hear about, which not only yogis do, but there are all sorts of people who do nowadays. Material magic is not the meaning of yoga. Yogi means one who is connected deeply with God, with Krishna, right? So please go ahead and read this. I'm not able to see your names. If you're on video, why don't I see your names?
Now, Meena Mohan, I can read now. I was
okay, Meena Mohan ji, go ahead. Do that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, read this quote on the screen that you see.
In the case of a yogi who sees the Lord as Paramatma within the heart, Lord Krishna never disappears from the sight of the devotee, nor does the devotee ever lose sight of the Lord. Such a yogi turns into a pure devotee and cannot bear to live for a moment without seeing the Lord within himself.
Thank you. Right, so this is just a quote Prabhupada is saying. Prabhupada himself is such a yogi. Prabhupada is saying out of experience. He's not simply mentioning this casually. He's speaking out of experience. And devotees always would see that Prabhupada is 70 plus years old, traveling all over the world, taking very great hardship. After 2 heart attacks and a stroke, he is very happy and energetic and taking part. He hardly sleeps 2 to 3 hours a day and is writing the whole night his books and whole day. This is the sign of a person who is very much in love with God and absorbed. His material requirements are not even looked into by him. Just the bare minimum. Just the bare minimum. He sleeps or he takes a little food. Very disciplined person. Prabhupada will take his morning walk every day when the sun rises. Wherever he is in the world, he will take his morning walk and catch the morning sun. And during the morning walk, he will say, okay, tell me what the rascals in this world are telling. Let me argue it out for you. And they will pose arguments and he will defeat them with Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavad. And he's training them how to understand the scripture. In the morning, he would do that. Whole night, he would write and get up in the morning and walk. Then he would come back and take darshan of the Lord, darshanarati, and speak Bhagavad. Then he would go and take a light breakfast, fruits and some nuts and some little bit. Very lightly he would eat. And then he would do the daily management of different places all over the world, letters coming in, telegrams coming in, all these things he will answer. And he will take his little massage with sandalwood oil and everything. and take his warm water bath before lunch at about 12 o'clock something, and he will take his early lunch, and he will rest very briefly for 15 to 20 minutes. And then he will tell his leaders to come and have his meetings. In the evening, he would do another big public program in a big hall or someplace and meet with so many different people. It will go on and on and on till 9 o'clock in the night. He would come back and rest. From 9 to 12, he would rest. 12 o'clock, he would get up again, and then he would start writing his books. They go on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When the sun rises, he will get up 5 to 6 hours of writing and go. And then he would always be able to talk about Krishna with great love and energy and enthusiasm. So everybody could see that this person is a yogi. He can, not be disturbed by material situation and circumstance. And he can remain very absorbed. And many times while speaking, he would break down, saying that Krishna is so kind, Krishna is so merciful, Krishna has come to you in the form of the holy name. Please accept it. He was begging everybody, please take this opportunity. Don't waste the human form of life. Take and chant the holy name of Krishna. Human life is very precious. You keep saying that to everybody with a great feeling. If you look and hear lectures of Prabhupada now, which is, you can go to prabhupadvani.org and you can hear videos, lectures, conversations, texts, and read the books, everything. You're so emotional out of love for God. So you can see who's really a yogi. You don't have to, yoga does not mean practicing some, exercises and remaining fit and going and enjoying material life again. You see in this verse, it's very clearly indicated. Sarvabhuta sthitam yomam bhajati ekattvama stitah sarvatha vartamano api sayogi mahi vartate. Please go ahead and read. Anybody?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah, please. Go ahead.
Such a yogi who engages in the worshipful service of the Supersoul, knowing that I and the Supersoul are one, remains always in me in all circumstances.
Thank you. Who is that reading it?
Pramila
Okay.
Maharaj.
Okay, Dr. Pramila. Right. Why I put this up for you? Worshipful service of the Supersoul, knowing that I and the Supersoul are one. Look at this. This is clear. Bhajati ekatvam astitha. I and the Supersoul are one because it's the same God speaking, Krishna speaking, said, I am expanded into your heart as Supersoul. He remains always in me in all circumstances. And this is a quote of Prabhupada, which I thought was interesting. There is no difference between a Krishna conscious person always engaged in the transcendental loving service of Krishna and a perfect yogi engaged in meditation on the Supersoul. Krishna is describing that perfect yogi, and Prabhupada is saying Krishna is already talking about that person who is absorbed in him, which actually means a devotee. And you will see that Krishna will conclude it to the end of the chapter vociferously, emphatically. He will say that yogi namapi sarvesham madgate nantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yoma same yuktatamo matah. And I declare that he who is constantly worshipping me, thinking of me, serving me, I declare him to be the uttama yogi, the topmost yogi. You will see this at the end of this chapter. So here is Prabhupada saying, you can serve Krishna, manasa vacha diya karmana, in whichever situation you are. You may be a housewife, you can worship Krishna at home, you can offer to Krishna naivedya and all that you prepare, and you can take prasadam. You can do puja of the Lord. You can read the Bhagavatam in front of the Lord. You can do kirtan, bhajan, you can chant the holy name. In this way, all these things you can do and cover up and remain absorbed. And you will become the best yogi. It doesn't matter if you're a child, you can be the best of yogis. If you're a lady, you can be the best of yoginis. If you're a man, you can be the best of you. All of them are yogi. By being absorbed in the absolute truth, Krishna, you become a yogi. That's the whole point. So Prabhupada, in going around the world, publishing the Bhagavad Gita in 87 languages as it is today, spreading the Bhagavatam philosophy, making people chant Hare Krishna, is absorbed. Only a person who is absorbed in Krishna can do that. So he is truly a great yogi. You don't have to show people magic. You don't have to bewilder people with material tricks. That is not really the definition of a yogi, as per Bhagavad Gita. And as I told you, Bhagavad Gita is an authoritative text on yoga. Remember this. So moving ahead, Krishna goes further. Arjuna is going further and asking, Yo, ayam yogas tvaya proktaha samyena madhusudhana tasyaham na pashyami chanchalatvat sthitam stiram. Now is the bomb dropped by Arjuna. Because Krishna is described, sit in a nice place, neither too high nor too low. Keep your back straight, practice pranayama, look at the tip of your nose, slowly move inside, concentrate on the lotus feet of the Supreme Paramatma in your heart, like that he goes on. We discussed that. Very clearly, Krishna is saying, meditate on me in your heart. That's what yoga is about. But now, Arjuna is saying, well, that's okay, but I don't think I can do this. Arjuna said, Oh Madhusudana, the system of yoga which you have summarized appears impractical and unendurable to me, for the mind is restless and unsteady. Can you imagine? Arjuna is rejecting Krishna's proposal. That's why I like Arjuna very much. Arjuna makes no bones about telling Krishna what he thinks. He just goes there, it's not possible for me to do that. Why? Be practical. I'm a warrior, no? Give me a sword and give me a target and give me people to kill and fight. I'll do that. But ask me to go and sit down quietly with a finger on my lips or, put my eyes between my eyebrows, cross-eyed and on my nose or something like that. I cannot now do that. It's not at all practical for me. Right? But amazingly, this is the one that has become a $60 billion commercial enterprise all over the world. What Arjuna has rejected and said, impractical, not possible for me to do. Can you believe that? So this is a bomb that Arjuna drops. And then he goes ahead and said, Chanchalam hi manah Krishna pramati bhalavadridam tasyaham nigraham manye vayuriva sudushkaram. Right? So please read. Who wants to read that?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes, please.
The mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong. O Krishna, and to subdue it, I think is more difficult than controlling the wind. Hare Krishna.
Wow. Thank you. Who is that reading, by the way?
Sri Kumar.
Sri Kumar. Thank you, Sri Kumar. So can you see the description of the mind here? Pramati, chanchalam, pramati, bhalavadridam, vayuriva sudushkaram. Restless, turbulent, obstinate, very strong, and more crazy than the wind. How can I control it? So your whole program is not possible for me. Your Ashtanga yoga process, which you have described, is not possible for me. But what Krishna answers is very amazing. He says, Asamshayam hi mahabaho manasdur nigraham chalam. You can go to text 35. Krishna is saying, Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagena cha grhyate Krishna is saying, yeah, of course, I know that it is difficult to control, no doubt. I know that it's difficult to control. Asamshayam mahabaho. There is no doubt that the mind is difficult to control. Mana durnigram chalam. But abhyasena tu kaunteya, you must practice and be detached. Important to note. If you want to control the mind, detachment is important and practice is important. And you should be determined in your practice. This is how the mind is controlled. This is a very important point and is spoken by Arjuna, who is very expert in doing these things. Arjuna also turned out to be a powerful high-class yogi, like I said, Prabhupada to you. Arjuna also turned out to be a yogi as per Krishna's advice. He did not go to the Himalayas and meditate on the tip of his nose. Krishna engaged him in fighting a warfare. Arjuna became a yogi by fighting for Krishna. He was lopping heads off, chopping limbs off, blood, gory fight he was performing. And by doing this type of a service to Krishna, he became a yogi of the highest order. Now, who is going to believe that? If you don't understand the secret of the Gita and you have not been taught the Gita by a bona fide guru, you will not understand how Arjuna is the greatest of all yogis. Why? First of all, Arjuna is a very deep devotee of Krishna. Otherwise, how is it that Krishna is becoming his charioteer? Isn't it? So you can judge very clearly a devotee who is absorbed in Krishna and serving him is definitely a yogi of the highest order. Right? And he is telling, making it very clear, my business in life is not just to sit and control the mind. And why should I do that? What's the end result? I should be serving you. That I'm already doing now. Right? I can be absorbed in service to you. These are some of the messages that come out from this. That's why you need to very carefully understand Bhagavad Gita in the sense that Bhagavad Gita is not just like I often say, Bhagavad Gita is not just a religion. Bhagavad Gita is a science. It's a complete science and is an examination of everything here. Here is an examination of a yogi and examination of the function of the mind. Even the greatest of psychiatrists and psychologists would not understand what is the concept of the mind that is explained here by Krishna. And Arjuna is saying out of practice and experience, Chanchalahi mana Krishna. My mind is vacillating like nothing. Today morning it will say, this is great, wow, wonderful. And after 2 hours it will say, horrible, that was lousy. Then after another 4 hours it will say, really, it was very nice. I also felt it was very nice. You don't know the track of your mind functioning. But if you actually had some tracking, you will be wondering at the end of the day, if you look at the data, you'll say, wow, it went up like this, down on the same business. Chanchala. Impossible to keep it in one place. If you really are carefully observing, you'll see the nature of your mind. Right? So Krishna is saying here, of course it is like that. If you're lost in the material world with the material senses and the mind, that's what will happen to you. Prabhupada said that in the material world, our situation is that the soul is not functioning on its own. The soul has given power of attorney to the mind. He used the word power of attorney. He said, gone to sleep and given power of attorney to the mind. I completely believe in you. I have full faith in you. I know you'll act in my self-interest. Here, I write and give you power of attorney. Oh, Mana, do what you want. And you spiritually go to sleep. And then the mind takes over. So everybody's life is governed mainly by the mind, so much so that you think, I am the mind. And while I'm talking to you, your mind is racing maybe with some other thoughts. You're talking about the mind. Yeah, I know the mind is real crazy, but your mind is saying that, yes, and doing something else. And when you say the mind has to be controlled, okay, you'll be saying that with the mind only. Isn't it? Look at the deadly trap that you're in. It's the same mind who's saying to you, wow, Bhagavad Gita says mind is very difficult to control. It is true, isn't it? Can't you see? So difficult to control the mind. The mind will speak to you about the mind. What will you do in such a situation? Can you open all your videos? I'm going to do a little exercise with you now. You have to open your video to be available to me on this exercise, okay? Simple exercise. It's a physical exercise. I'm not going to take you into some deep, subtle body platform. Raise your right hand. Raise your right hand, everybody. Fine. Put it down. Raise your left hand, everybody. Fine. Great. Put it down. Okay? Raise both your hands now. Okay? Hold your left hand with your right hand. Hold your left hand with your right hand. Fine. You're able to do it, right? Okay. Hold your right hand with your left hand. Great. Hold your right hand with your right hand. Can you hold your right hand with your right hand? Try. Can you do it? No, you can't. No, you can't. Isn't it? So, you can't control your mind with your mind. Don't do that. It will take you for a, infinite regressive ride. You go deep inside. It's fooling you. That's why Arjuna is saying, Pramati Balavadridam. It's obstinate, strong, and highly tricky. It's not at all easy. While I said to you, while you're listening to me here about the mind, it's the same mind telling you, yeah, the mind is very bad. It's very difficult to control. And as soon as the session is over, the mind will tell you, to hell with that. Let's go switch on the movie and watch. You got same, and you say, yeah, and you go. Why? Because you are under the control of the mind. So don't take these instructions of Arjuna very casually. These are instructions of a powerful yogi saying, Chanchalahi mana Krishna prabhati balavadridam, is speaking out of experience, and you too can resonate with that experience. Yeah, true. It is like that to me. Yes or no? Yes or no? Yeah, true. You're experiencing it. But the amazing thing is you can be free from it. You can be free from it. Imagine how you would be if you had control over your mind. It means, okay, power of attorney and all over. I've come back from the US or wherever it is. I want to enjoy my property, my body, my situation, my senses. I'm going to enjoy. Okay? Forget it. I pull off the power of attorney. And what do you expect? You would expect that, okay, come on, listen to me. So imagine a situation where you dictate terms and the mind listens to you. It's reversed than the present situation. You tell the mind, think of Krishna. Boom. He'll be thinking about it. Why? It's controlled. Atmaivahi atmano bandhur atmaivahi ripurat manaha. Krishna explained, a controlled mind is your best friend, an uncontrolled mind is your worst enemy. Okay? So, if a higher faculty can control the mind, and you heard earlier Krishna describing in the 3rd chapter, 2nd chapter, Indriyani paraniyahu, indriyebhya paramanaha, manasastu parabuddhir yo buddhe paratastu saha. He gives a hierarchy of finer and stronger. The senses in the body is one level, and above that is a mind which controls the senses in the body. And above the mind is the intelligence which is more subtle than the mind and controls the mind, can control the mind. And then above that is the subtlest of them all. Yo buddhe paratastu saha. Greater than the buddhi is the soul. The soul is completely of spiritual mode, and rest of the thing, intelligence, mind, body, all of them are material. The soul is got the capacity to control this mind, body, everything. This mind and body and senses are simply matter, and they are being enlivened and animated only by the consciousness coming from the soul. Okay? So if you wake up and if you become conscious of Krishna, the mind can be held like this and said, do this. That's it. It'll be done. Right opposite of what's happening now. It's so difficult to get yourself to do something. Discipline is a big job. Habits and breaking them is another huge, insurmountable stuff. Why? Because nobody knows the greatness of themselves as spirit souls, being far, far more powerful than the mind and the intelligence. So everything is topsy-turvy in our hierarchy now. Mind is taken over, and it influences even the intelligence. Right? So you don't know what is good for you. If you're on the mental platform, there's a nice shloka in the Bhagavad Gita that says that Yasyas vibhaktir bhagavatya kinchana sarver gunais tatra samasate suraha hara abhaktasya kuto mahat guna manorathen asati dhavato bahi. Very beautiful shloka in the Bhagavatam states, a person who becomes devoted to Krishna becomes a devotee. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavatya akinchana sarver gunes tatra samasate sura. All the wonderful, great qualities of even the devatas will settle down on him if he just becomes a devotee. Harav abhaktasya kuto mahatguna. Abhakta means one who is not a devotee. Harav abhaktasya means one who is not a devotee of Hari. Kuto mahatguna, what good quality can he have? Mano rathen asati dhavato bahi. He will be riding the chariot of the mind, Manoratha. Manorathen asati. Asat means unreal, illusory. Manorathen asati dhavato, running, bahi, in the external world. He'll be chasing material objects, directed by the mind and the senses. He will run around like mad, driven by the mind. He get fried like you fry in the tawa. Some stuff in oil, left, right, acceptance, rejectance, sankalpa, vikalpa, thinking, feeling, willing. There's no control over the things that happen. Right? So what good quality can he have? A guy who does not have a control over his mind, his senses, how can he be a good guy? How can he control himself? How can he perform things properly? So the Bhagavatam says it's impossible if you don't control your mind, and it's impossible to control your mind without being a devotee. That's the point here. Krishna is bringing that point. Towards the end of the chapter, he will, I said, emphatically state it. My devotee will do this properly. He will be the real yogi. He will be the person who will control his mind easily. It might take him a little time maybe, but he will be successful in doing it. This is the instruction. This is the answer to Arjuna's question, Chanchalahi Mana Krishna, what shall I do? And Krishna is telling that you practice Bhakti Yoga. Sadhana means practice. So he's saying by practice and by detachment. I just want to say a few words on detachment before I will stop and take questions from you. What is attachment and detachment? Very interesting to know. We get attached to many things in this world. We are very attached to our own bodies. You know, we love our bodies because our body is a source of sense gratification. Gratification of all types we get through our body. And then we love other bodies which give this body gratification. We love those bodies. We love those people because of them giving us gratification. It may be subtle mental gratification, intellectual gratification, or bodily gross gratification. We're like everybody, and we're very attached to all of them. And we're also attached to objects that give us gratification. I'm really attached to my phone. That's a new piece of investment and attachment everybody has got. Their mobile phone, wow. Oh gosh, if I forgot it, I'll run all the way from anywhere to get it wherever it is. And gosh, everything is in the cloud. Thank God I lost my phone. I remember, although as a sannyasi, I move around, I preach and everything, I use my phone a lot. I remember many years back, I was in Vrindavana. In our temple on Diwali day, it was Kartik month, was very crowded like nothing. And I gave a morning Bhagavatam session there. And then I was so blissful. We were singing the Damodara Ashtakam. And the whole temple, everybody was lighting and waving lamps at the beautiful forms of Radha, Shama Sundara and Krishna Balaraman. It was so festive. It's a big kirtan going on. Everybody was dancing and absorbed. And I was also Hare Krishna. I took a video of everybody showing. I was so ecstatic. And then I put my phone in my pocket and then took the lamp and offered Krishna. I was completely absorbed. But right then when I raised my hand like this, one of those guys put his finger inside my pocket and took my iPhone. My iPhone became his phone, right? Me phone became his phone for just a moment. He just put his two fingers and took it out. And then I came out. What a beautiful evening. Let me record this. I said, put it in my phone. I said, my gosh, what happened to the phone? Just now I took a snap. And then I went running inside and said, now I was a completely different guy. My phone, all my contacts in that. I got to call this person, this program tomorrow, my travel there for tomorrow, my flight, wow, where is my phone? I went around like a mad guy, and then they told me, oh, Maharaj, you lost your phone. I wanted to tell you, every day we are having at least 4 or 5 complaints. We can't control the crowd. We don't know who is coming inside. We've called the police and they already called 2, 3 guys, but I'm sorry you lost your phone. I said, what do you mean? I want my phone now. They said, we'll give a complaint, but mostly you won't get it. I never got the phone. And that night, I remember sitting down and said, my gosh, this phone has screwed up my whole day. And then I was thinking that I'm attached to the phone. I'm really attached to the phone. And Krishna has done this to me. Just show me. You said you're greatly attached to me. Raise your hands and sang Damodara Ashtakam. Now how do you feel? I just picked your phone away from you using one of those thieves. How do you feel now? I said, I feel horrible. I never knew I'm so attached to the phone. So this thing called attachment, I'm a sannyasi speaking to you. I'm saying it won't leave me also. But then I got over it in the next 2 days because somebody came and said, don't worry, Maharaj, I bought a phone for you. I heard about it because I wrote a whole blog on it. I wrote a rhyme on it. Wow, this happened to me while I was in Vrindavan. Because I was very amazed that I'm disturbed so much because I lost the phone. Anyway, but the point is this thing called attachment. You can have attachment not only for other beings, you can have attachment for things. And they can completely absorb you. Your house, your property, your bank balance, your car, your children. All sorts of things create attachment. Each one of us has got lots of ropes attached to us. And as we move around, each one of them pulls us. That type of attachment, this attachment, that attachment, this attachment. And with all that load, we move around in this world. So that person who is free from this attachment is as light as a feather. He has nothing to worry about. And he can very easily focus only on Krishna. Matprana natastu sayeva para. So that is a great feeling to be free from everything and be completely focused on the Supreme Absolute alone. Krishna is saying, if you do not practice detachment, it is actually difficult for you to control the mind. Because attachment is a mental thing. It's a very deeply mental thing, right? So attachment is different from affection and love and all that. You must understand this. Don't confuse attachment. It sounds a little synonymous, but it is different from affection, love, all that. You know, you can have attachment separately on anything and anybody, but you can have affection only for persons of your same kind. In the Bhagavatam is a brilliant description of Bharat Maharaj, out of whom our country is named Bharat, how he developed attachment for a deer. For a deer. He left his whole family. Yo dushchadan darasutan sukrudrajyam hridi sprashah yuvaiva malavat yuttama shloka lalasa. The Bhagavatam says that this person called Bharata Maharaj, he gave up dustyajan, things that are very difficult to give up, he gave up. He gave up his wife, Dara, Sutan, he gave up his children. Suhrid Rajyam Hridi Spashaha. Suhrid means all his good friends. Rajyam means his whole kingdom. Hridi Spashaha means things which are very close to the heart. He just left it. Juhau Yuvaiva Malavat. He gave it like you pass stool and you walk away. You do your ablutions in the morning, you pass stool, you go to the toilet, you pass stool. You're not going to feel the loss and feel attachment towards stool. It's from me. Nobody does that, right? So the Bhagavatam uses example, says, it's like to hell with you, flush the guy down and throw him out. Done with you. You're not attached to that at all. Just like that, he gave up all these things. Family, life, wife, that, this, treasury, everything he gave up. And he went to the forest and he practiced Ashtanga Yoga. And he was developing his love for Krishna. And then all of a sudden, this incident happened of he watched a pregnant deer just drinking a little water on the river. And then a tiger was crawling and coming slowly behind. And then as it just grew, it did, and the deer immediately knew that it's going to pounce on me now. And it was very advanced stage of pregnancy. The deer just leaped across to the other side of the bank. And while it leaped across in midair, it delivered the young baby deer. And it fell into those swirling waters. And on the other side, the deer landed and just went somersaulting and died. This man, Bharat Maharaj, was sitting on meditation from the top level and he watched this. Wow, that poor deer is swirling in the waters. And the tiger is standing on the shore. Oh, he lost the deer and the kid. I thought he would leap up in the midair and catch hold of the kid. No, it didn't happen. So he comes running down, shoos the tiger away, because Bharat Maharaj is known to have fought with bare hands tigers in the forest. He's such a chivalrous Kshatriya. You will see in his younger days, he did that. So he just shoos the tiger away and he dives in and gets the deer, just been delivered. Very cute looking. Then he saves it and comes out drenching wet and says, don't worry. It's, by Krishna's mercy that I spotted you. But something started happening there. He felt that he should protect the deer. That tiger will get it. I should keep the deer. I should feed the deer. So subtle. He developed an attachment for the deer. That every day he would do the homa, yajna and everything. The deer will come and nuzzle with its nose on his shoulder. And he will say, and you'll feel, wow, okay, I'm coming like that. And then he would hug it, kiss it, embrace it. And then slowly he gave up his homa, yajna, worship of the shalagram, everything he gave up. And he was sitting with the deer and he was picking roots, shoots, fruits, bringing milk from that. He did all sorts of things. And he died holding the deer on his chest and kissing the deer. In his next life, he was born as a deer. He was born as a deer. because he was in complete deer consciousness. He forgot Krishna. Look at the attachment he developed for a deer. After giving up the treasury, the kingdom, the friends, his wife, his children, he came to the forest and got stuck by a deer. What a story this is. An amazing story. So don't think that you will not get attached to even your pet dog. Your pet dog and your pet cat and anything you can be attracted to invest yourself in. Right? So attachment is an amazing thing. So a yogi, first thing he does is to detach himself from everything material and attach himself to Krishna. Develop taste in hearing Krishna Katha, chanting the names of Krishna, associating with such devotees, reading the Bhagavad Gita and discussing it. And this is no simple matter. Unless you endeavor for it, you're not going to get it. It's not just lip service. It's not just if you read, I have read the Gita. No, you have to practice it. And what does it mean by practicing the Gita? Making a plan of how I would get detached from unnecessary things and try to focus more on developing my attachment for Krishna. Because that is the meaning of a yogi. And don't think yogi means somebody who wears long hair and comes down from the Himalayas during Kumbh Mela and they are the only yogis. You could be a yogi. You could be looking after your 2 children. You could be going to the marketplace. You could be cooking and teaching your kids. You could be looking after your husband, your relatives and everything, and keep Krishna in the center of your mind. And you could be a yogi. You can be a yogi right there where you are by following these principles that Krishna is speaking here. You don't have to be relocated geographically or resituated in a different condition. You can just change your mentality. You can change your consciousness inside. And you can be a yogi right there. That is what Krishna is trying to tell Arjuna. I don't have to run away from the battlefield. It's not good. Stay there and fight it out. Just change your insights. So that is what we are at by reading the Bhagavad Gita. We're learning how to change your consciousness inside, purify our consciousness inside. Okay? Take it in that spirit. Right. So I close here. Good night. Hare Krishna. May you have sweet dreams of Krishna about how you're going back to Goloka and going back to Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.